Welcome back. I'm Amber Bradley with my co-MC, Joe LaRocca.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to New York City and the industry's only
digital fast break conference.
It's a big deal. It really is. It's the only time that some folks that don't get to travel to conferences can tune in live and see what's going on.
That's
and
right.
It's just like sessions at a conference.
Yeah,
you just go sit
pretty
down
much.
at a session.
And if you have any questions, you can
Yes.
always tweet them to me at LaRocca J or to
Yes.
Amber at my Calibration. We're happy to answer them and maybe even post that answer up online.
Yes, so we've had some questions, and I'm going to get to a couple in a second.
For me?
Yeah, for you.
Oh,
It's
no.
all about
It's
stats.
nothing
Personal.
No hot seat questions.
No
right?
hot seat questions, I promised earlier.
Okay.
No hot seat questions. Only I think people are interested in kind of making sense of some of this ORC data. I think it's one of those things where people are constantly trying to communicate to their organization what the problem is. Right? So one of the stats was that nearly 40%, nope, check that. I don't want to misstate the facts.
Please do not misstate the
facts. Hashtag fact check.
Facts matter.
Someone's fact checking me real time. I got a tweet about it. So 31.8%. How about that? Of LP professionals believe senior management doesn't fully understand the seriousness of ORC. So a couple prongs to that. Number one would be why. Number two, whose responsibility is it so they do understand? So that's one of the questions that was sent in.
It's actually an excellent question. Why don't people understand it? It's a tough beast to wrap your mind around. We tend to look, C-level executives tend to look at what's in black and white right in front of them. And organized retail crime, they see the shrink. But it's not until you pull shrink numbers, fraud numbers, look at fraudulent returns, cargo theft, look at the counterfeit goods that might be returned back to the store, or if you're a multi-channel, the counterfeit goods in your supply chain. When you pull all of that together, you realize that there's a whole gray market operation, black market operation underneath your business. The executives, retail LP executives that have articulated that well, their C-level generally understands it. NRF membership tends to really understand it because it's something presented to them over and over again. But the truth is, we know that close to 95% of retailers nationwide are the victim of ORC. So that 31%, if your executives don't understand it, it's really, I think, your responsibility to educate them. And just, they're not going to sit for an hour-long dissertation about organized retail crime. But it's the constant nuggets of information. You know, this is driving a particular market, the bad business or the negative customer experiences, or it's the blip inventory results in a specific category of product. Why are we always out of this one size? Well, it's the hot popular size of clothing. Or it's the item, it's the diabetic test strips that if you look at our three competitors, they're all locked up. It's not somebody stealing it for need. They're stealing it and reselling it for greed. And that's the difference.
That's kind of a tweetable, I think.
Need versus greed.
That's right. Not only for the rhyming aspect, but it's actually pretty
Is that
on
right up
point.
there with Fun Day Monday? Fun Day Monday.
I'm going to go with
Fun
it
Day?
surpasses the Fun Day Monday. Not
Okay.
that I don't love that, because I do, but I think it's important too. Maybe loss prevention professionals don't know how to take the first bite at the apple, right? When you're talking about, it's complicated. And a lot of people, may not understand, and the C-level folks, I don't think most people believe that there are ORC gangs out there that are stealing cartloads of Tide Pods or HBC product, right? It's one of those things, like you said, it's hard to wrap your mind around. And so the LP professional is wanting to educate, right? And I know you said they're not going to sit for an hour-long presentation, but how do you take all of these different things that are somewhat sophisticated crime patterns, right? You're talking about taking return fraud, if that's what they're dealing with in their environments, as well as maybe push-out theft in grocery or home improvement, and then articulating that story in something comprehensive that C-level folks will understand and not just think, look, it's the guy who just needed, 18 boxes of formula, right? I mean, how do you do that? If they're not going to sit for an hour long, What do you suggest?
Well, this is a big part, understanding your audience and understanding the preference of the person you're speaking with. Some executives are very visual. If you show them the photo of a visual or a data photo of what happens in a store or a market, they'll get it. So here's my analogy. The analogy would be, I had a boss that he just couldn't understand how so much in one category of product, it was denim, walked out the door. And when we looked at, people shoplifting the goods, employees committing some sort of return crime, stealing the merchandise for themselves, bagging it up, whatever. The truth was, we set up a camera, we showed them an individual coming in, grabbing all the product off the shelf and walking out. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but over and over, every time we got a new shipment in. And
So it's a compilation.
when we're able to visualize it in a way saying, this is not someone stealing for personal use, not even for just their neighbors. The products are being resold in a secondary market. And here's the market where they're being sold. It clicked. Like, okay, so what do we do about this? It was well beyond just tagging the product. It was beyond just basic training. In that particular case, we installed some undercover people to make arrests. The problem went away. But immediate results, right? Once the arrests were made, the thefts went down, the inventory's back in count, and now we're in business. Somebody understands ORC. That's not the answer for every situation, but you need to pick your shots and give it to them in small bites.
So it's almost like how you're wrapping up your ORC case for law enforcement, right? Because law enforcement, you can't just take them one push-out theft as an example.
Right.
It needs to be all wrapped up in a bow, like you're saying, kind of given the examples, totaled up in volume monetarily,
Yep.
and then talking about, and here's the fence, and here's where they're reselling the goods, right? So almost like you're wrapping up a case, same for the C-level, true?
Yep. So for law enforcement in 30 seconds, they are our partner. They do not work for the company. It is not their job to prevent every theft. It is not even within their scope to investigate every theft that takes place. If you want a law enforcement partner, you will bring them a crime, you will bring them evidence, you will bring them video, you will bring them everything you can wrap your arms around, including inventory losses. So when you show up at their door, they care. It's something that they can make an arrest. Their job is to make an arrest or get the product back. That is their goal. So if you understand that, the bigger the crime, the more attention it gets. And don't let that be the first time you ever talk with them.
Right.
Go to these meetings, meet your law enforcement partners,
Yeah.
bring them into your
all the
business.
ORCAs.
That's right, the ORCAs,
Yes.
the NRF conference, others. But get them in as your partners early and often.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your perspective on that and for the question via Twitter. We're going to send it right back to Gus Downing. Thanks so much for watching LPNN.